Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rebel Creatives podcast. I'm your host, Delano Wallace, and it is my mission to help business owners and entrepreneurs to gain financial impact and time freedom so they can do more of what they love and have a more fulfilling life. And I want to start by just saying, happy Labor Day for those celebrating Labor Day. And for anybody like me, bringing their children back to school, 1st September, Monday morning. Hope you had a great time doing that, and your children are super excited to get back into school and everything. I know some persons have already started the new school year, but for us here, today is the first. All right. So, holiday plus back to school day, as we like to say, all the free papers are burnt up for the kids. They have to get right back to work, right? So, with that being said, in this episode, I want it to be about empathizing with your audience, right? And this has been inspired, this like topic has been inspired by my own personal experience recently. So I've learned a lot. I dropped the ball because of, one of the challenges that we all face as human beings, right? And I wanted to not let it just be a learning experience for me, but also for persons who listen, and just to let you know that, hey, give yourself grace. I mean, we're all humans, things happen, but what's important is that we learn from it and we improve from it, right? So I've learned, I've improved, and I want the same for my audience, right? Now, if you're ready, let's dive into it. But why is it important, right, to be able to empathize with your audience, right? By understanding and feeling what your audience feels, you can build genuine relationships that foster trust and loyalty. And let's be real, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, and in today's day and age, nobody can trust you or, want to be loyal to you, they won't do business with you. And then you're in business to do business. So if you're not getting people's trust, and if you're not getting people to be loyal to you and your brand, you're not doing business, right? So it's very important to be able to empathize with your audience. Now, when you truly empathize with your audience, you not only understand their pain points and their desires, but you can really get to connect with them, which drives increased engagement, stronger loyalty, and better feedback, right? People will be more likely to interact with your content if it's resonating with their emotions. And people who feel understood are more likely to remain loyal to your brand. And empathy opens a door to honest communication, right? Which can help you to improve your products, their services, the way that you do things for and with your audience, right? So, mastering empathy can transform your brand from just another voice in the crowd to a trusted companion on your audience's journey. Now, while all of that sounds great, right? Unfortunately, many struggle to empathize with their audience because it's not always easy to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And there are some other common challenges that people face, right? And we're all humans and we face certain challenges, right? One of those is relying too much on data. While analytics can provide insights, they can't convey the full depth of human emotion. So you don't want to have an over reliance on data. And personal biases, it's natural to view the world through your own lens, but this can cloud your ability to see things from your audience's perspective, right? And another challenge is time constraints, right? And this is the one that got me. You want to take the time to understand your audience on a deeper level. And finding the time takes effort, right? Which can be challenging in a busy work environment, or if you're trying to rush things too fast. It's better to take a day to reply and make sure that you get it right rather than to try to be quick and do it in like 5 minutes, right? As much as everybody appreciates fast, it doesn't matter if it's not done right. So make sure that you take the time, or you find the time, to understand your audience. Don't rush it. Next thing is, we are afraid to be vulnerable. And if you want to truly empathize with someone, it often involves showing vulnerability. And it can be uncomfortable, especially in a professional setting, but it's something that you want to be able to do, right? If you want to really connect with your audience. And and I think, like, even me creating this episode and pointing out that this was inspired by me falling short in empathizing with my audience at some point, is just showing that vulnerability. I'm not perfect, and I never will claim to be perfect. But you know, this shows that not only that I make that mistake or fell short, but I'm willing to look at it and shore it up and learn from it. And my hope is that in me learning from it and sharing it, someone else can learn and even either not make that mistake ever, or they learn and know that, hey, it happens to everyone. I can improve, right? And the last challenge or barrier that I will mention is making assumptions about your audience, right? You don't want to make assumptions based on stereotypes or generalizations, because it can lead to miscommunication and missed connections. Right? You For example, like, you might hear a piece of a video and you just assume that's that, and you watch another one and you see that, oh, maybe they're saying the same thing, and that can lead to just you not acknowledging what the real issue is, because it shows that you're not paying attention, right? And that's why it's so important not to let these challenges that I mentioned, or barriers to effectively empathize with your audience, happen, right? You want to make sure that you acknowledge them and you put things in place to make sure they don't happen again, or block you from doing that thing. All right. So by following the guideline that I will be mentioning, you will learn how to break through these barriers and start building deep empathetic connections that will, set your brand apart. So the first thing you want to do is truly listen to your audience. This means more than just hearing their words. It's about understanding the emotions behind those words. Engage with your audience through surveys, social media, and direct conversations. Listen not just for what they are saying, but also what they're not saying. For example, if customers frequently mention feeling overwhelmed by your product, it might be a sign that your user interface is too complex. And an example of this is like, having a website and people saying that it's complicated or difficult to navigate. If you actively listen and you empathize with their frustration, then you would now take the action of simplifying the website design. And if you do this, it can result in, say, a 30% increase in your customer satisfaction and a 20% boost in sales, right? Because we all know that if your website is designed to be functional, and I like to say, you want to have your website have your user goals and your business goals considered, right? So I formed a trifecta of business goals. When you understand your business goals, when you understand your user goals, and you merge that with your website goals, now everybody's needs are being met, right? So you want to make sure that you take even something like that into consideration so you can improve your results. Ignoring the emotional tone in feedbacks or focusing solely on the positive comments while dismissing the negative ones, that's a big mistake that a lot of business owners will make, right? And this approach can prevent you from truly understanding your audience's needs. So you want to avoid this by taking all feedback seriously. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 star or a 5 star or a 3 star. Read them, take them seriously, and see if there is room for improvement based off of what people are saying. All right. And in doing that, you're empathizing with your audience on a different level. All right. The next thing you want to do is put yourself in your audience's shoes. Once you've listened, you want to now imagine what it's like to be in their position. This requires setting aside your own experiences and biases. Don't, for example, we know how to we know what it's like to build a professional website that's functional, that's getting results and all those things, right? I have to put myself in the position of my audience who typically don't know about the technical stuff and all the things, all the different positions they need to put their CTAs, the font they should use, the color coordination, and all of that, right? So you want to ask yourself, what challenges do they face? What emotions are they feeling? How can I make their experience better? All right. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be able to truly understand their situation and be able to put yourself in their shoes because you're getting the answers to those questions. You can know how to emulate those. Now, a mistake is assuming that what works for you will work for your audience. This can lead to misalignment between your offerings and your audience's needs. So, to avoid this, you want to continuously seek feedback and be willing to adjust your approach based on what you learn. And that's why, like for me, I prefer to have those conversations on a one to one where we can get clarifications and get to understand where your prospect is coming from. How are they feeling? What challenges do they have? All of the questions and get it understood so that you can then craft an offer that works for them. In my area, that's how I like to do it is to I have my offers, yes, and it's pretty much the same. But in understanding my prospects, I will know which offer is best for them, and if none is best for them, also to let them know that what I do is not the best thing for you right now and all of that. But it happens through you being able to have all the information to put yourself in their shoes and know their situation, where they want to go, and what would be the best path for them to get there. Lastly, you want to now communicate with empathy. All right. Now that you understand your audience's emotion, communicate in a way that shows you care, right? So you want to use language that resonates with their feelings and demonstrates that you understand their struggles. And this builds trust and encourages a deeper connection. Here's a good example. A company that sells like productivity tools started using language in their marketing that acknowledges the stress and overwhelm their customers feel, offering their products as solutions to ease your daily grind rather than just increase efficiency is how they changed up the messaging. And this shift resulted in more positive customer interactions and higher conversion rates. So that's how you can, after understanding and being able to truly and fully empathize with your audience, you'll now be able to communicate with them in a way that will get them to take action because it's like you're speaking directly to them and their needs. All right. So, just to give now, that's where I dropped the ball in that I didn't. I tried. I like to. This term is rush recklessly. I tried to be too responsive, too fast, without taking the time needed to understand, put myself in the prospect's shoes, and then communicating value with empathy well enough, right? So as a result, it didn't foster trust. The person won't feel like they're being listened to and like they would want to trust this person because it's like there's no understanding there, right? And it's completely natural to feel that way in a situation like that. So that's why it's very important to make sure that on your journey to empathize with your audience and to make sure that you're understanding their needs and you're serving them right. Understand the challenges and make sure that you're not falling into the trap of doing those things. All right. Now, if you're listening actively and if you're putting yourself in your audience shoes and you're communicating with empathy, you'll be able to create content and experiences that deeply resonate with your audience. This is not this not only fosters, stronger relationships, but also leads to tangible results like increased engagement, loyalty, and sales. So empathizing with your audience isn't just a nice to have skill, it's the key to connection and ultimately to the success of your brand. All right. So I hope that this episode was helpful. I hope that I turned my shortcoming or my mistake into an inspiring podcast that can, because I've learned from it and I sure want to make my audience learn from it because as business owners and entrepreneurs, that's what we strive to do. We strive to serve the marketplace, and the more we know, the better we serve, right? And sometimes learning from another person's experience is way better than you actually having to experience it, all right? So I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspired you to know exactly how and want to be vulnerable so you can learn more about your audience and really empathize with them so you can truly help them on a deeper level than just the surface level. All right. So I'll leave it here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And Delano signing out.